Hi, English 102. This is just a quick tutorial on this week's assignment, which is the LibGuide. A couple different goals for this week's assignment. First is to think a little bit more about evaluating some of the resources that you're going to be using throughout the semester on your different topics, as well as the different databases available to you through the ASU library and outside of it. Also, want to start thinking about creating a bibliography and some notes as you're reading through all these different sources, how they're going to work for you in your research topic. So in the guide, there's a couple of links. First of all, what we'd like you to do is to watch a couple of brief videos on the ASU library website about evaluating some of the resources, how to ask some questions about the things you're reading, about their sort of partiality, and whether they're sort of going to work as research materials, as well as some of the different databases that are available through the ASU library. A couple of quick videos, about 5 minutes apiece, just to give you a little bit of background. We've also included a link to some of the tutorials from the ASU library's webpage. If you want more information or some guides, some slideshows about how to use the different resources the library has, this link right here is a very good one. The second part of the assignment is searching for actual sources that you're going to start using on your topics. So what we want you to do is go to one of the academic databases. So you've just watched the videos, learned a little bit about the different sources you can find in the databases available. So now what we want you to do is actually use these databases to find some sources for your research projects. So a number of sub-steps here. Under step 2, access the Academic Search Premier. You're also going to use a couple of different databases that the library offers, including OneSearch, LexisNexis, CQ Researcher, Opposing Viewpoints. There's some others. I'll show you in just a minute where those are located on the ASU library website. But for now, we're going to stick just with Academic Search Premier. So to access Academic Search Premier, visit the ASU library page. Easiest way to navigate is just liblib.asu.edu. Takes you to the ASU library homepage. On the homepage, as long as you've logged in with your MyASU ASU user right ID, you can access different resources down here. Here's where all of the different things that we're pointing you to are located. So Academic Search Premier is here, LexisNexis Academic is here. Some of the other ones that we have, CQ Researcher, they're available all here or in the different links on the library homepage. So let's go to Academic Search Premier. Here is the search site for Academic Search Premier. Uses essentially the same sort of commands that a Google search kind of will. It uses Boolean phrasing, which I'll get to in a minute, to help you sort of narrow and refine your search. So what we've asked you to do on the LibGuide assignment is to actually search for some sources using your topic, the topic that you're going to start researching for the semester. So for example, I'm interested in video games. So I can type in something here like video games and see what comes up. So video games, and we'll search. Now video games is a pretty broad topic. There's a lot of people talking about video games in a number of different ways. So first of all, I came up with 1,383 search results for video games as a topic. Taking a look at some of just the titles that come up, talking about video game usage among soldiers and military training, the effects of aerobic exercise, exergaming, and video games, so people playing Wii Fit or something. Something in French, adaptive two-player, video game assisted emotional regulation training. So pretty broad already, just in the top 5 or 6 results. A pretty broad kind of range of things people are talking about, and that's a kind of a frustrating thing. How am I going to search through 1,300 results? What we'd like you to do, and what we've put some notes in the LibGuide assignment document, is to start refining that search. So hopefully you've already developed some questions that you're thinking about asking around your topic. So I'm going to refine my search. I'm thinking about video games, but I'm really interested in video games and education. So I'm going to use a Boolean search phrase, and there's a link to some helpful resources for using search phrases like and or not, using some of the search symbols, or using parentheses to exclude things, stuff like that. On the LibGuide assignment document, you'll find a link. They're really good skill to kind of learn. You'll use it in Google searching and searching for academic databases, all kinds of things use these commands. So and is one of them. What it's doing is saying I'm going to search for the term video games and education within it. So let's find out what happens when I now start to refine the search, not just video games, but something a little more detailed about video games. So using video games and education as search terms, it returns 64 results. So already it's narrowed that pool of articles down significantly. 64 is more manageable. So the first topic actually stayed the same, which is interesting. Let's see, what games studies can teach us about video games in the English and literacy classroom. That's interesting. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. There we go. An examination of the role of individual. So again, searching through the top 4 or 5 different things show me that it's closer to what I'm looking for. So I'm going to refine this a little. 64 is still kind of a lot of articles, so I'm going to refine this a little bit more. So I'm going to use another modifier, search modifier. I'm going to use and again, and I'm going to look at learning. I'm very interested in using video games to learn in schools and beyond that. So now I've used video games and education and learning. I have 19 results. So way more manageable than what I was looking at before. So I'm going to say these look like things I actually want to start looking at. So now I need to actually get the article. So here on Academic Search Premier, you can look for this little logo where it says Get It at ASU. There's a couple different ways to do it, but this is the way that I tend to do it. So Get It at ASU. So if you click on that link, it'll take you back to the sort of ASU search site, and it'll link you directly to a source that you can actually download the entire article. So I'm going to go and get this article. So after loading up, here is the article itself. It tells me where it came from, gives me the abstract and all the different things, and then the text itself. Most of these sites will also give you the option to download a PDF of the document, so you can download it to read it. If you don't like reading online and you want to download it and print it out or something like that, you can download the PDF. So that's really handy. So with refining those search results, I've narrowed it down to 19 or so articles. That's much more manageable than 1,300. So after reading through some of the abstracts and maybe some of the articles that look like they're sort of promising, I need to sort of filter again. I need to pick a couple sources that are going to be really good ones to use for this assignment. So one thing that I can do is, once I've identified those documents, I can set up a list of works that I'm going to cite in this paper, works cited sheet. So I'll create a new document and I'm going to make a works cited sheet. In this class, we're actually asking you to use MLA format. That's the Modern Language Association format. There's a couple other ones that people use, APA or sometimes Chicago Manual. We're asking for MLA. So in the LibGuide assignment, we've actually given you a link to a website from another university that talks more about what MLA formatting is. Along the left-hand side, you'll see all kinds of links for guides, examples, and stuff like that. We're going to start over here on the left side with the works cited page itself. So this website gives you some examples of how to cite MLA. It also, in the guide itself, has rules essentially for how you do that. Author's name, then the name of the document, then the name of the source itself, whether it's a journal or a newspaper or something like that. So use that guide as you're setting up your works cited page. Now we've also put a couple of different links on the LibGuide assignment document itself for some resources that'll help you use works cited and keep track of these things. There's a couple different ones. If you'd like to experiment more with these different tools, they're available. One that we recommend is called RefWorks, and if you go to live.asu.edu, it'll have a link over to RefWorks. There's a couple other ones that we've put in the document itself, including Zotero, which is another free citation sort of document. What that does is it'll often make some annotations and help you create that bibliography yourself. It's up to you whether you'd like to do it from scratch or whether you want to use a tool that'll help you find the actual information. So it just so happens that I've made a quick works cited page as an example. So what we're asking you to do is find at least 3 sources, and these sources need to include at least one book source, one source from an academic journal, and then one source from a periodical like a newspaper or magazine or something like that. And then create a works cited with that. So using the different databases, they actually have tools where you can change what kind of search you want to do based on some of those sources, whether you want to look for books or for journals or anything like that. So on the Academic Search Premier site, and the other sites have these tools as well, you can change what kind of publication type you want. So if you only want periodicals, or you only want newspapers or books, or any kind of different document types, you can actually select that within your choice and then search for that. Academic Search Premier has that. LexisNexis is mostly geared towards periodicals. You're really not going to find books in LexisNexis. Some of the other sources will have those as well. So use those tools within the databases themselves to help you narrow your searches down. So once you've found those articles that you want to use, those sources that you're looking for, you create the works cited page. Using MLA formatting, I've created a works cited page, and then I've also annotated one source. Annotation basically is just a brief summary of what the article's about, how it might help you in your research itself, how you might use it, maybe some questions that you have, how it relates to other things you've read or looked up for this assignment. So we also included this sample copy in the LibGuide assignment document, so you have a model to look at. But essentially annotation is just sort of a way of helping you remember what it is that you've found and how you want to use that going forward. Well, that concludes this tutorial. If you have any questions, certainly feel free to ask us or ask your peers via Facebook or Blackboard or any of the other ways that we can contact each other. Good luck and happy hunting.